Welcome to Perspectives with Catherine Toon. And I have been looking forward to introducing you to, if you do not know her, her name is Lyn Joyfull, which is so apropos. Hi, Lyn.
Hi.
Welcome. Wow, we have been trying to get this thing rolling between me getting sick and schedule changes and just goof ups. And so you know it's going to be good. So I'm so glad to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, I thought I'd read a little bit about Lyn. If you don't know her, you will be so happy to get to know her. She will make you happy. She's got that anointing on her. So Lyn Joyfull is a hope architect, releaser of life, entrepreneur, business owner, inspirational speaker, imagineer, and ordained minister. Life's greatest accomplishment is mother of two amazing children, Josiah and Kara. Lyn speaks with the wisdom and the glory of the Lord as she ministers prophetically from the deep well that's within her. She imparts hope as she calls out and up and awakens the church to their true identity, which is simply 1 John 3:1. Look with wonder at the depths of the Father's marvelous love that he has lavished on us. He has called us and made us his very own beloved children. Lyn has walked with the Lord for 37 years and has realized, if I have not love, I am nothing. The greatest is love, and believing, receiving the love of the Father, who he is what set her free from a life of poverty, hopelessness, addiction, depression, divorce, performance, and religion. Her life's message is, see him pleased with you. Her life truth is, I am his beloved daughter with whom he is well pleased. Rest in his goodness. So this gives you a little taste of who Lyn is, and I'm so excited to have you. But before we get started, I don't want to forget, I wanted to show everybody this beautiful ring that I got from Lyn. That was such a beautiful gift. It's sapphire, which is my birthstone. You probably didn't know that, and has lots of prophetic significance. So thank you. I wear it. I feel blessed. I feel loved. Thank you for being Lyn.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. So you had mentioned in this beautiful bio some of your life's message, and I love it, and it's all about love, pretty much, and identity. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight for everyone, you have had a journey, and you have had a story, and you have had some gut punches with poverty, hopelessness, addiction, depression, divorce, performance, and religion. And you walk through all that and you come out this gorgeous, loving person. That is something incredible and truly is a life story and a life ministry. So Lyn, that is so amazing. Can you share a little bit about kind of where you came from? It doesn't have to be super in depth, but I think it's important. Sometimes people see someone who's worked really hard and spent a lot of time with the Lord, and they're full of joy, and they think, well, that's great because they've had such an easy peasy life. Well, it doesn't sound like life has been so easy peasy. And you're there to give hope, right?
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit about that, just so people can kind of say, wow, you know what, maybe if this works for Lyn, this will work for me.
Yes, it will work for you because he's so good, and he works all things together for our good. That's my life verse too. He works everything. He makes all our wrongs right. He makes everything right. Because I've done many wrongs and I've made many wrong choices, wrong mistakes, done it all wrong, and he's made it all right because he works all things together for good. So I love that. I'll just brief history. I was born in England in 1962, so that'll tell you my age. And I
born child too. So yes, let's hear it.
Yeah, but we're not great. We're getting younger. We are not getting older. We're getting younger.
It just gets better and better. Yeah, keep going.
It just gets better and better. Okay, so I was born to a single mother. It's a long story, so we won't go into that. But anyway, back then that was a big no-no to be born out of wedlock. Yeah. And so we actually lived in a palace in England with the people that did the kings and queens itinerary. My mom was a servant. She was their chief cook, and I was her child. And she lived on $1 a day. That's where poverty started. I mean, everything else was provided for, but we had nothing. And so long story short, I moved to America, became an American citizen in the early 90s. And then my mom did end up marrying my dad, but that didn't last. So that was like a 3-year thing. And then that ended. So was one thing after another, moved to America. I got married. That didn't work out like I thought it would. And that ended. But I do have 2 beautiful children because God works all things together for good.
Yes,
all things together for good. And we are not, the good news is we are not the sum total of what we do. It's what he did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sister. Yeah.
Yeah. So but for the longest time, I didn't know that. I do have to say, Jesus often comes to me as a lion. I met him when I was 5 in a garden in England. I wanted to know him so bad. All I knew was a song called Away in a Manger. I started singing it in the garden and the presence of the Lord came swirling around me. And that was my first encounter with the lion. And then I did know him as Aslan, the King of Kings. So he's walked with me as a lion for years and years and years, and he's taken care of me. But it has not been easy. It has been hard. But a lot of it's up here. What I realized is, as a man thinks, and we don't have to choose sorrow and sadness, even though stuff happens, and yes, it's real, and there's pain, and there's grief, and there's sorrow. We do not have to stay in that place. Absolutely. We can choose a brighter tomorrow. And that's what I've been doing. I met him in 1984 for reals when I woke up to his love in 1984 when I was 22 in America. And he has changed my life. But if I had just believed from the beginning, you see, I thought I had to do something. I thought I had to be good enough. I thought I had to perform. I got caught up in religion, even though I went to a church that's first name was Grace something. There was no grace.
Grace, but not really. We're kind of confused about what we're grace until we're not.
Yeah, and they didn't know. They were wonderful. Yeah. And I stayed there for a long time. But anyway, so as I've walked with him, the one thing I have learned, I used to say to him all the time, I can't feel you. I can't feel you. I don't, I didn't believe that he really loved me. I didn't really believe that he loved me. Even though I would say it and I would quote all the right things, see, but if your heart doesn't believe, because, it's with your mind, with your mouth, you confess, with your heart, you believe, but our heart often doesn't believe these things. Absolutely. Until he comes in with his great love and scoops out the soot and ash and brings in the truth.
Or other things that smell a whole lot yuckier, but yes, absolutely. Yeah. He's gonna dig all the junk out, all the toxins out. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, and it is a process. I'm not trying to say it's overnight. We get to journey through a process of walking with him. And one of the key things I do believe is as we process and walk with him, we gain keys for other people. Yeah. We gain truth for other people. So what I have endured and overcome and now believe and walk in, I can impart to anyone else that desires, whosoever will.
That you can feel that. And one of the things I love about the process portion, the journey portion, is if God was like this magician and bang, just like sort of like all healed, it's anti-relational. And so where you get to know God is in the journey. Like he met me here and it's really sucked and I was able to transcend. And then this pain point, right? He was able to scoop out all the garbage and give me peace. And this is where you really know him. So not only do you get healed, whole, deliver, get in purpose, all of that kind of thing, but you've got this amazing relationship that will take you for the rest of eternity, right? And that's the benefit where you really know, wow, he really is working together, these things for my good. And I have hope, and then I can release hope, which is what you do so well, Lyn.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, he proves his faithfulness over and over again. Even we don't remember how faithful he is. Even when we're not faithful, he's faithful. And we often forget, we go through seasons. Well, he did it before. Of course, he's going to do it again, but we forget that. But he still does it because he's so wonderful. Right. And his faithfulness is great. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies are new every morning. Therefore, we aren't consumed or destroyed. It's just such good news. But it took me a long time. What I wanted to say when I was starting to talk about not believing how much he loved me, one day I was on the floor in a worship session in a church and here in America. And I felt like the Lord just said, I'm like saying, I can't feel you. I don't, my heart didn't believe. And he said, why don't you just choose to believe it? Just choose right now to believe it. Take a risk. and choose to believe it. And that I decided to take him at his word because he doesn't lie, and choose to believe that he really loves me because he loves me because he loves me.
Yes.
Not because of anything I could ever do or anything I ever did. And the same is true for all of you. He loves you because he loves you because he loves you. And that set me on a journey. You know, we're powerful. We're powerful spiritual beings, and we're multidimensional, and we're awesome. And we don't know how awesome we are. And we think that it's true. And he's chosen to co-create with us. We can create the world we live in by our words, by our thoughts, by our actions. And it isn't a magic wand, but it is choosing to believe what he says and taking him at his word and then speaking that and walking towards that. Even though everything in us might not feel it, we can't go by feelings or emotions. I've learned very early on. Oh, yeah. I still do sometimes, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work, but he works. The truth. He's the truth. So yeah, okay. So I believe that he loved me, and that was the start of walking in freedom.
That is huge. And it is a starting point because we were created for love. And when we don't believe that we are loved, we're like counter who we are. And so we're totally cut off at the knees. So it all starts with that. And he loved us first. It's not like we're having to convince him to love us. He created us in love and chose us in love before he ever sent us. And so this is our essence and our design. And so when we're not tracking with that, we are so out of kilter and nothing really works.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, his great love. The truth of the matter is, you matter.
Yay! Right.
I believed I didn't matter. They had a whole bunch of lies going on that directed my life for years, aimlessly. I could never quite, measure up because I didn't believe that I mattered. And the Lord, he'll just come and sit with you. He'll sit with you in your pain. He'll sit with you in your gain. He'll just sit with you. He enjoys what we enjoy. He's all about just being with us. He so loves being with us. And the truth is, there is no separation. It's divine union. We're like one. We're one. Yeah. And there's no escaping that. We think, well, if I do something naughty, he's like stepped away. Nope, he doesn't step away. He's right there. He never leaves us or forsakes us.
Right?
Yeah. In fact, when I did go do something really naughty, on my computer screen, it flashed, I will never leave you or forsake you. I mean, it came up supernaturally. And I was like, wow, I still went and did something naughty, but the Lord said, I will never leave you or forsake you. I've loved you with an everlasting love.
And never means never, I think, in the Greek.
Right. Yeah, it means never. But most of us don't really believe that, or we're taught like a little bit different.
Right. We think never until I do something bad, because God can't handle sin. Like it's kryptonite. Right. And it is unscriptural, and it is silly, and it leads to condemnation, and it makes you powerless to do what the lovely things that you were created to do. Right.
Yeah. It's our own condemnation that separates us, not him.
In our minds. In our mind.
It's all in the mind.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. And so you were kind of performance driven, like me. Yes. So this is why we resonate. I'm like, yes, this is so great. So you're performance driven because ultimately you were trying to earn the love that you need, like you need air. Right. And then you make a bunch of mistakes, because if you're not able to track with real love, then you get sort of toxic love, and that creates a lot of problems. Right? Yes. And so, but when you awaken to the fact that he's just wild, but he just adores you. He cannot get enough of you right where you're at.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, he delights over delights in you.
Absolutely. And the more you track with that, the more lovely you become, because he literally is able to unveil who you are in his image and likeness, in the image and likeness of love, and it's lovely in your flavor. And you look just like him in your flavor. And so that is such a healing process. I love what you said, Lyn, because I hear this a lot from people. Well, I know he loves me, but I don't feel it. Right. Yeah. And so your step one there, if I understand you correctly, like, okay, you're not feeling love. Well, why don't you choose to believe you are loved? And when we choose and turn our affections, like, I'm going to believe that, it's amazing how his anointing causes us to do what we can't do. And the feelings actually follow that that decision to look to him, and that you're dependent on him to even be able to receive love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
And so he
Yeah.
empowers us in every end, but we do partner. So if
Yeah.
you are fighting being loved because you're reminding him of all the ugly things that you did, right? You know, you're fighting, but when you're saying, well, you just love me anyway, because it's not about what I do. It's about who you are and who you
Yeah.
meet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so good. And every day, you know, every day I have to sit in that. Every day I have to sit quietly and remind myself and let him tell me again how much he loves me, because he loves me because he loves me.
Absolutely.
Not because of anything other, no other reason, that I am my Father's delight. I am the apple of his eye. And so are you.
Yes. Yes, we all are. And there's not some that are not. It's
That's
just
right.
you're not feeling that way. You've learned wrong from life, or maybe from the church, you know.
Yeah.
We or from whatever. But it's a lie. And as that lie is healed, and the weakness of our frame is that we forget. And so we just need to be reminded. So if you need to be reminded, no condemnation. God loves to remind us that he's wild.
Yes.
He never,
Yes.
if you haven't gotten it yet, I'm so frustrated with you. It's like, honey, let's sit down. Let me just love you in your cluelessness. Let me just love you in your yucky behavior. Let me just love you in a bad hair day. Let me just love you in your stinky behavior. Let me just love you because I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And it transforms.
Yes, because he sees the real us.
Oh,
We don't see the real us most of the time, but the real us is like we're amazing. We're so amazing even on our worst day. We are so amazing. We are so beautiful. We are so powerful that we truly can change the world one person at a time. And actually, that's what the Father has given us to do. We look around and go, wow, why aren't you doing anything, God? God's like, well, I gave that for you. I gave it to you. And we're learning. We're waking up. We're all starting to wake up and realize that, wow, I can do this. I can do this. Apart from him, we can do nothing. I remember when he told me one time, Lyn, you can't even scramble eggs apart from me. And that actually set me free because I can do nothing apart from him. But in him, and because I'm in him and we're in union and we're never apart, I can do all things. And so can you.
Absolutely. It's such amazing news. And the fact that we don't have to cough it up, work it up. It's from that place of, so Jesus, remind me that you love me again, because I'm not feeling very lovable right now. I feel shame. I feel whatever there is, and letting him heal that, where we're unveiled to do what we were created to do. But doing does not establish our worth, because we are all that in a bag of chips. We're going to do amazing things. It just reflects our worth. Right.
Yeah.
So, right. So it's a manifestation of the unveiling of the sons of God that release salvation from its bondage.
Yes. Yes, that is right. That's so good.
So much fun, isn't it? I mean, it really is. And then we get to partner with him to release answers. Yeah.
Yes. We have all the answers. Mm-hmm. The Lord has them all, and we are in him. We have them all, and he's going to show us at the right time, the right place. We're going to know exactly what to do. And his yoke really is easy, and his burden really is light. We make things much harder. And I'm not saying we don't go through hard things, because we do.
Yeah.
But even in that, we can hide ourselves in him, and we can walk in a cleft of the rock of freedom, a hope that no matter what's going on, because this last year and a half, let's face it, hasn't been that great.
For you too.
That's what we thought. You know what? I'm making COVID work for me. It's going to work for me.
Right. All those things work together. Right.
They all work together for good. And really, I asked the Lord, I have to say this, I asked him about this last year. I said, well, what's going on? What are you doing on all this? And I heard him say, I'm doing a divine reset. And that is what he's doing.
Perfect. That is a divine reset. And he told me, he said, I'm shaking things, which is basically a reset. So what are the false things that we've put our hope in that will not support us, especially for eternity, right? And so what is unshakable? And it's simple, and we're unshakable in our union with him, right? As we remain in him, we bear much fruit. And so it's that place we're able to transcend all the junk. You get to hydroplane on all the junk. And right. And God is the one that empowers that. And
Yeah.
he doesn't have favorites, except we're all his favorites. Everyone's a favorite, right?
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
I get to enjoy
Yes.
that. Awesome. Now I understand you are writing a book. Do you have a title?
Yes. Unlocking His Glory on Your Story.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. That could just preach.
Yes, it's a 40-day devotional, and it's a compilation of prophetic words I've given people over the years. I've had hundreds of them saved, because the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus, and what is true for one can be true for many. And it's usually about our identity and his love for us and how he sees us. And so these words all reflect that. And so there's one for each for 40 days to renew your mind, to soak in his grace and love. And I'm 3/4 of the way done. And once I get moved to New York, I'll be, have a little bit more time to finish.
Yeah,
So,
no, I get it. I've got projects. I'm like, I'll get to that.
yeah.
By your grace, Jesus. Totally. Yeah. Now, you said that you have a prophetic word for all of us.
Yes.
Are you ready to give it? Because I'm personally ready to receive it. I'm sure everyone listening is like, yes.
Yes. This, I'm going to read, I put it on my phone so that I could find it. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, are you ready?
I'm buckled in. I'm good.
Okay. God's love isn't based on me, it's placed on me.
Ooh.
It's not that we behave, but we behold. And as we behold, we become. So then he said, my thoughts towards you are always good. I'm always pleased with you. You can do no wrong in my sight. And that's not a Song of Solomon. You're beautiful without flaw. No wrong in my sight. That's a revelation when you can see that, when he looks at you as perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So he's not mad at you. He's mad about you, crazy about you. Yeah. He says, you're without flaw, perfect in my sight. And then this is what he says to tell you. Tell them I am good. And because I am good, they are good. Because their lives are hidden in me. They have everything they need. They are whole. They are perfect and complete and lack nothing. They are my beloved ones. They are my perfect ones. They make my heart sing. They are altogether lovely. There is no flaw in them. They are so beautiful. My heart is that you would know these truths, that you would know you are the beloved of God, the perfect one, the holy one, the righteous one, the royal one, that you would know you are my sons and my daughters. You are my kings and my priests. And I have done a good work, and it is beautiful to behold. And that I will lead you into good works created before the foundations of the world for you to walk in. I will lead you in this. Just take my hand. It's all that I will cause you to grow and to will and to weigh according to my good purpose. This is what keeping in step with the Spirit means. It's simply walking in my footsteps, beholding the Father and doing what he is doing. It is an easy thing to walk with me. It is an easy thing because my yoke is easy and my burden is light, and I give you rest. I give my beloved ones rest. So come away with me, my beautiful one, my royal one. Come with me and take a drink and see, and watch what I will do for you as we step into the unknown, as we walk into the unseen. In the unseen is where everything you long for exists, because faith is evidence of things hoped for, substance of things unseen. It is in the quiet place, the unseen place, where you will find rest for your soul. Come in, come and sit and rest, and let me fill you with my best, my beautiful, altogether lovely one, my righteous, holy one.
Wow, that's a blast. Thank you.
That's the truth.
Lyn, I'm like, I may not be dancing on the outside, but my spirit's going, on the inside. That is gorgeous. Thank you for releasing that. It's such a encapsulation, right, of everything we've really been talking about, that
Yeah.
he's ministered to you, he's ministered to me, and so many out there. We're not alone, which is the beauty of it, right? Because so many people are awakening to this gorgeous God who's wild about us, and who is conforming us into his image, unveiling us in his image, and
Yeah.
releasing people from bondage, releasing creation from bondage in the process. That's amazing. So wow, that is so beautiful. Now you do prophetic jewelry.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Okay. Well, about 6 years ago, I have a 22-year-old daughter, but back then she was about 16. We started a business called Love Yourself Jewelry. She really, I do most of it, but she's awesome. So she did pray and ask the Father for a name for our company. And she was in high school at the time, and she's very observant. She's a seer, and she saw that women don't love themselves most of the time. That young girls and teenagers and children even do not love themselves because they don't know how wonderful they are. So she felt like the Father said to call it Love Yourself Jewelry. So this jewelry is their identity pieces. They're all at the moment. I do have 14 karat gold and white gold and yellow gold, but I'm starting again. But most of it's solid sterling silver with gemstones. Most of them are one of a kind. Yeah, that one's beautiful. I think it's called Deep Waters. I can't remember. I should remember, but Catherine is the deep drink, deep well. So that suits her.
No, that's true. I am swimming. I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. So the jewelry, they're identity pieces to speak of your worth and your value. All of my jewelry comes with the download the Father gave me about it. And also I pray over your name and give you a personal prophetic word. And sometimes I have a team that helps me with that because it gets a little overwhelming, and I hope it stays overwhelming because that's how I'm going to make a living. But anyway, that's what we're doing. And it's truly bridal identity pieces for the sons and daughters of God to know who they are. And I've noticed when I do conferences and I speak, or I go and I sell the jewelry too and minister, and I've noticed that people will pick something that speaks exactly where they're at and what the Father is saying over them. And he's so good that way, and he can use anything, all of creation. And so my contribution is this jewelry to minister his great love and how he thinks and feels about you and who you are to him.
It's so beautiful. And, when you think about a jewelry ministry, because jewels speak of worth and value.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, it's not like sand or something. It's something that is of worth and value, something that speaks towards identity, and something that's beautiful, which is everything that we are of worth and value. He knows who we are. We're called as his beloved sons and beloved daughters. And we are beautiful and powerful in his sight. And so it's such a gorgeous ministry that you're doing and that you're releasing. I'm so excited about your book. That's just going to bless people, because we do need to be reminded. I love the fact that it's a devotional, because every day we need, okay, so I got kind of whacked yesterday and like buried in junk and whatever. So, okay, I need to be reminded, oh yeah, okay, yes, I am loved. I am, oh, I blew it there, but I'm so loved in my blow it. And he's going to help me come up higher because I'm valuable, and all those different things that you release. We need it every day. And I love your honesty that says, you know what, I still need it every day. And that's true. We all do. Like, I still need it every day, right? But
that's why it says encourage one another daily. That's why. That's why we do. There's not a day living here on this realm.
Right.
Come up higher, and we need to realize how great we really are. And one more thing about love yourself is, Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. So the best thing we can do is just receive his love and let that love go in and believe it and receive it, so that we can believe how great we are and how wonderful we are and how much we matter. And then we can love others from that.
It's so good. And so often we're trying to perform love. And we just need
Yeah.
to receive it. Like, I can't see myself
Yeah.
properly. I can't love myself properly unless I'm really basking in it.
Right.
And that, you know, for some people, the more lies that you're carrying and brokenness that you're carrying, and because of the world or whatever religion, you just need to bask in it more. But we need to bask in it regularly, because the world, I don't know about you, but there's stuff going on, and it splatters on you and makes you feel gross,
Yeah.
and, you know, whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, but I'm loved, I'm good. And so that
Yeah.
daily kind of washing, bathing, basking, and then as a byproduct, we because we're receiving his love, we love ourselves and we love other people. And that's what we're commanded to do, is to
Right.
love who loves, including ourselves.
Yeah. Right. Starts with us.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
This is such amazing revelation, and we have a little bit more time. What else has the Father shown you? And particularly that was helpful for you in walking, you know, areas of bondage out and things like that, because that's where people's pain points are, you know, where they've already
Yeah.
overcome. Awesome. And so, but where maybe they're in cycles of things, maybe they're just depressed and hopeless. Maybe they've got shame. Maybe they have shame put on them, or they've done things and then they condemn themselves. What other things, or what other keys can you give us to help those of us who are struggling?
Well, I want to say that I used to call myself, until very recently, the queen of the brokenhearted. You know, I carry an Isaiah 61 anointing. I think we all do.
You do. I can tell
the end goal here. But brokenness, you know, but the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those that are crushed in spirit. But I've had so much betrayal, so much pain, rape, molestation. I'm just, you know, things happened to me growing up.
Right, me too.
Bad stuff. And I had to walk it out. And a lot of it, I just had to choose in my mind to believe the truth.
Right.
So I wore shame like a mask. I had layers and layers of shame, fear, and control. Those three things hang out together. Everything's kind of rooted in fear. That's why we need that perfect love to kick out that fear. And there is no easy fix when you walk through the level of shattering the human heart and spirit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's an easy thing, but I am saying there is hope. Because I've walked through 2 divorces, not one, 2, you know, I thought I had married the love of my life, and betrayal set in and my heart was broken. Shattered. Being raped, being molested, being the child of a housekeeper cook in England in a mansion, you can imagine, walking through just being treated. And because I believe things about myself, of course, I was kind of treated that way for years.
Exactly.
I just kind of perpetuated those things until I decided to believe, wait a minute, I am worthy of love. I remember walking up the stairs into my little shop one time, and I heard the Lord say, Lyn matters. Lyn matters. And I would say, you matter. It's little things like that. Just choosing to believe the truth. I matter. You matter. Because we've written our, you know what I used to say all the time? Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, it didn't matter, but you know what? It does matter because I matter.
And your heart matters.
Right, our heart matters.
It matters because your heart matters, because you matter. Right.
Right.
So I mean, sometimes in our survival mechanisms, we kind of do that. We're like, well, this is no big deal. No, it's a big deal, because it compromised your heart.
Yeah.
You matter.
Right. And we stuff it all down.
Right.
Yeah. And we say we're
Exactly.
okay. And we, especially as Christians, we confess the truth and we walk and we're broken. The truth is we need to walk through that pain, not stuff it away and say, oh, it didn't happen. You actually kind of want to go through it and exchange the lie with the truth. Absolutely. Of whatever the Father is saying. So it is good. I did find people to help me. I did decide to become vulnerable. I found people that I trusted to tell things to so that I could be healed. Because, oh boy, did I need healing. And I still do. But it's okay. Because the journey is the destination. Like we all think we have a destiny and we just like trying to get to our destiny. But the journey, the unfolding, the beauty, we're beauty unlocked. We're beauty that's becoming unbroken. And that's who we are. And so that's for me, how I kind of walked through that years. I walked with the Lord, like I said, like 37, 38 years now, maybe 40, I don't know, a long time. But only recently, in the last 10 years, did I realize the power of being vulnerable, authentic, not trying to cover it up with religious quotes and scripture. Oh, I could quote you anything, but
Right.
it didn't. I was still broken and hollow inside because I was not being authentic. And so find someone that you can talk to. Read Catherine's book, Marked by Love. That will heal you. Read my devotional when it comes out. That will help heal you. All of those things. There's so many ways, and the Lord knows what we each need. And he's able to bring what we need at just the right time if you'll let him.
And he is so faithful with that, because we are not going to get to do this just us and the Lord. Now, it's always about you and the Lord, but a lot of times it's about you and the Lord through someone else, right?
Yes.
You've walked such an incredible, just, shatter of pain, and our stories are very similar, except I was not, it didn't start off as a servant, as a daughter of a servant, but just shatter, and the shame that we carry, and having that be, well, that's part of the human experience, but it's also something that the Lord wants to heal. And so being vulnerable, Paul Young says that the unexposed is the unhealed. So we have to allow it to come up, not to wallow in it, not to identify ourselves as victims, but to say, wow, this really hurt. And here, Jesus, help me. And here's someone who Jesus is moving through, help me. And so we get to help one another, and we all come higher, right? And then you're not spending so much energy trying to keep it stuffed, or trying to look good, or trying to look like you have it all together. No, it's here. And the authenticness of the healing that's really happened is a real thing. It's the real deal. And what hasn't happened kind of yet, in terms of you walking out this wholeness, working out your salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, however you want, renewing your mind. If you can say it 1,200 different ways. But that's part of the process. And Jesus is with you in that process. So you are never alone in it.
Yeah.
And he keeps you in the process.
So good. That's so good. I want to say one more thing about that. Like, we were created for love. That's it. We were created for love. And my dear friend, the Lord showed her this image of a baby on a table one time in a room. And the father said, what do you see about the baby? What is that baby's worth? And she couldn't see anything. She goes, oh, maybe a tax write-off. She was kidding, but
wow.
I don't know. She finally, she says to the father, that baby was just made for love. That baby can't do anything. And that's us. Let the weak say they are strong, but it's okay to be weak. And we are that baby on the table that just needs to be loved. That is who we are. That is what we were created for. And instead of trying to be something that we're not, or that we're maybe not yet, we can just be the baby on the table. We can just rest in his goodness. I love that. Rest in his goodness and be the baby, and let him be the beloved. Just be.
Well, that baby is adored, and that baby as a baby has nothing really to offer. It's going to try and keep you up. You know what I mean? But you're in love with the baby. So it's like, okay, yes, what does the baby need, right? So this is where we're completely dependent. And we're in our dependency upon him. Apart from him, we can do nothing. We do bear much fruit. And we realize that we do have this inherent strength, but it comes to the surface as we're hooked up with him. It's nothing that we do apart from him. It's really as we do in our oneness with him. And knowing that we're adored, so we can also take risks, and we can grow, and we can, the pain that you allow to come to the surface is temporary, right? But the growth that you have is ongoing, and you can build on the little bit that you've done to get more, to get more, to get more, to get more, and you get to be really solid. And that's what you're describing. And then you get to be rooted and grounded in love. I think that's really solid. Because right. Yeah, that's so amazing. Wow. Well, Lyn, I just love you. I know we kind of peripherally talked a little bit, and but our hearts are just like, woo, on the same frequency. It's so beautiful. It's such a God thing. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for who you are and for what you carry. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So now if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, you can find me on Facebook under Lyn Joyfull or under Love Yourself Jewelry on Facebook. You can get in touch with me, lynjoyfull@gmail.com. You can get in touch with me, Love Yourself Jewelry Instagram, and my website, loveyourselfjewelry.com.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And do you have like an ETA or something when the book might be out? Are you thinking like a year? Do you have a sense of when? Because that's such a
well, the artwork is almost done. I've got this beautiful artist in Norway that did all my artwork. I'm 3/4 done. I'm moving on 11/1 to upstate New York with Jackie.
wow.
Jackie X from Myers. So anyway, I hope to have it done by early spring. Early spring. I hope to have it done.
That's beautiful. Everybody pray so that she can really, she's got a lot to juggle, and writing is not an easy thing. So you go with that. That's so amazing. Well, love you, Lyn. Thank you so much for coming on and just sharing your heart. And I hope you'll come back again sometime.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Maybe especially when your book is out, so we can direct everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Go.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you connect with Lyn. She, we just scratched the surface of the surface of the surface of the richness of what she carries. And so I know you're going to want to connect with her. Oh, and go check out her jewelry. It will make you feel beautiful. And loved. Absolutely. So thank you, Lyn, for coming on, and thank you everybody for watching.